In the headline, INEC says no election in 240 polling units meets political parties. 20 feared dead as meningitis outbreak hits Jigawa. 14-year-old boy drowns in Kano State. And on the foreign scene, bus and armored truck crash kill 20 in South Africa. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thank you for joining us. And now the news in full. The Independent National Electoral Commission says the forthcoming general election will not hold in 240 polling units across 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory for not having registered voters. The INEC chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, at a meeting with the national leaders of political parties in Abuja on Monday, said that the February and March election will not hold. It will now hold in 176,606 polling units instead of 176,846 polling units nationwide. Noel Samson, who was at the venue, has the report.
Yakubu recalled that in 2021, the Commission successfully expanded the number of polling units from 119,973 to the current figure of 176,846. He said that efforts were also made to distribute voters to the polling units in order to avoid the congestion that made voting cumbersome in many of the polling units nationwide.
There are 240 polling units without registered voters spread across 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory. They range from 1 polling unit to 12 polling units in each state and the FCT, except Taraba and Imo states with 34 and 38 polling units respectively. No new registrants choose the polling units and no voters indicated interest to transfer to them during the last continuous voter registration exercise, mainly for security reasons. From the feedback we received from our officials and accredited voters following the recent nationwide mock accreditation using the BVAS, it is clear that some voters could not easily identify their polling units. This must not happen on election day. Consequently, the Commission is advising voters to confirm the locations of their polling units through a dedicated portal linked to our website. In addition, all voters who have been assigned to new polling units will receive text messages from the Commission indicating their polling units. We have also compiled the register of such voters, and our state offices will give it wide publicity, especially for those who may not have provided their telephone numbers during voter registration or those whose numbers may have changed.
The National Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC, Yabagi Sani, appealed to INEC to ensure that the general election hold as scheduled. Sani would reaffirm the Council's confidence in the leadership of INEC for its consistent demonstration of diligence, urged the Commission to make the general elections credible.
The 2023 general elections seemingly will be a watershed in the history of elections in Nigeria. Today, the tide has changed because an unknown party could pull a surprise to the greatest chagrin of all. From this point of view, it is necessary to advise INEC to keep its date with history, which must not be wasted.
Meanwhile, the United States Assistant Secretary of State for Bureau of African Affairs, Molly Fee, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, have visited the Commission's headquarters, where the Assistant Secretary of State restated the importance of having a peaceful election.
I do want to make clear that the United States does not back any candidate or party. We back the process. We back democracy.
On the ongoing electionary campaigns, Yakubu expressed INEC concerns about the violent attacks on supporters of political parties across board and appealed to the leaders of political parties to continue to call their candidates and supporters to order. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Also on election, ahead of the 2023 general elections, President Muhammadu has declared that the eyes of the nation and global community are on Nigeria Police Force and all law enforcement agencies. The president stated this on Monday when he commissioned newly procured NPF operational asset vehicles, crowd control and anti-riot equipment at the force headquarters in Abuja. Kehinde Amodu reports.
President Buhari had on Friday been briefed by the Inspector General of Police, Alkali Baba, on the Operation Order and Action Plan for the 2023 elections. The launch of these assets will only serve to consolidate the level of preparedness of the police for the exercise. For good reason too, as the eyes of the entire nation and indeed the world will be on the police to provide adequate security that would foster credible elections.
The acquisition of the assets being commissioned today was in furtherance to the broad plans of adequately and appropriately equipping the Nigerian police towards guaranteeing a stable internal security order and embracing peaceful, secure, and credible 2023 general elections.
The police hierarchy is confident that with a new injection of equipment, the force will be able to meet up the challenges.
Indeed, with this focus and the ongoing operational asset procurement effort, I am confident that the Nigerian police as the lead agency in election security process have been positioned well enough to police electoral process.
They are also procured with a view to bridging the operational gaps in the Nigerian police, position the force for the stabilization of the national security order ahead of the 2023 general election, and also guarantee the attainment of a peaceful, secure, and credible exercise in the most operationally efficient manner.
The President's commissioning of a wide assortment of operational assets is supposed to make a statement. The equipment acquired to strategically improve on the operational capabilities of the police force, particularly in crowd control and anti-riot operations, will face its first litmus test during the general elections later this month. From the federal capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
In politics, the presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, says he will ensure the completion of the Kolmani oil exploration if elected on February 25th. Tinubu stated this on Monday at the Pantami Stadium in Gombe during the party's presidential campaign rally in Gombe State. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
The APC presidential candidate who arrived the state through the Lawanti International Airport first paid homage to the Emir of Gombe, Abubakar Shehu Abubakar, accompanied by Governor Inuwa Yahya, other APC governors and officials. Addressing crowd of supporters at the Pantami Stadium, the APC presidential candidate promised to ensure successful completion of the Kolmani oil exploration project as he vowed to improve agriculture and education across the country.
Development is here now. For several years, we tried to find ore. Now, Kolmani has given you the resources and access to commence effective drilling and development of the petroleum lubricant in Kolmani and other places.
The APC National Chairman Abdullahi Adamu and Gombe State Governor Inuwa Yahya urged the people of Gombe to vote APC candidates at all levels. Either today or tomorrow, vote for the APC from top to bottom. Victory is from God. No surrender. Gombe State has been in PDP's grip since 2003, before the incumbent Governor Inuwa Yahya of the APC got elected. In 2019, he is seeking re-election on the APC platform. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
The Rivers State chapter of the PDP Presidential Campaign Council has confirmed that its candidate, Atiku Abubakar, will no longer hold the scheduled rally in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The chairman of Rivers PDP PCC, Senator Lee Maiba, blamed the development on the crisis between the council and the Rivers State chapter of the PDP, led by Governor Nyesom Wike. Maiba alleged that the volatile atmosphere created by the governor's foot soldiers, who he said had made to view Atiku as the enemy of the state, led to the cancellation. He rolled out a series of attacks against Atiku's campaigners, insisting that events leading to the proposed campaign had indications it could end up in bloodshed. The Nigerian Fulani Political Forum, the NFPF, a Fulani pressure group, has declared its support for the People's Redemption Party, PRP, presidential candidate, Mr. Kola Abiola, in the upcoming February 25th election. The NFPF leader, Dr. Ibrahim Abdullahi, stated that the Fulani community has 7 million votes, which they plan to cast in favor of Abiola. He criticized the ruling APC for neglecting the pastoralist Fulani and affirmed that the nomads will support a candidate who addresses their issues, regardless of ethnicity or religion. The PRP presidential candidate also faulted the implementation of the cashless policy as being devoid of inclusiveness.
What informed our decision to identify with PRP? We are tired of the old brigade. We have not seen any difference between the ruling APC and the PDP. It's the same people, the same culture, the same injustice if Nigerians make mistake this time around to vote for those people. Now, what we are hoping for is a change, a complete change. And in Kola Abiola, we see a gentleman that can be able to drive Nigeria forward.
I think it's a very bad timed, not so much timed, but more implemented policy. You see, what has happened is a collective mess. You have a situation where you wait too late, and it was not really thought out. Your banks cannot cope with the influx. You don't have enough out there. Many of our citizens are not even in the banking system. If you're in a village or a local government that doesn't have a bank, how do you change money? How do you take that money back? So you need to be inclusive first before you now try to bring a policy that is inclusive. We're not even inclusive yet. So how do they begin to transact? That's one. Two, the banking softwares, the fintech softwares are not robust to even take the volume of activity that you are forced to now do online.
In security, the Minister of Defense, General Bashir Magashi, retired, says the Nigerian Armed Force is overburdened because of inadequate manpower and numerous security challenges confronting the nation. The minister stated this on Monday in Abuja at the 25th edition of the President Muhammadu Buhari's Scorecard series, organized to showcase the achievements of the government. Presenting the scorecard of his ministry, Magashi said one of the challenges of his ministry was the excessive demands from the military despite its inadequate manpower. In addressing the challenge, the minister stressed the need to enhance the capacity of the police and other paramilitary agencies to enable them discharge their primary responsibilities of internal security. According to the minister, Nigeria also needs consistent recruitment of about 12,000 soldiers biannual to enhance the capabilities of the military to meet the security challenges of the country.
In manpower and equipment, that they are deployed to all internal security operations across the country. The armed forces' involvement in all IS operations is because, in most cases, the first and second lines of defense of the country i.e. Nigerian Police Force and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, lack the requisite capabilities to effectively discharge that responsibility. The armed forces thus deploy all over the country, performing the roles that are primarily for other security agencies. Troops are currently deployed in different theaters of performing such roles as roadblocks, security of infrastructure, the guard duties of VIPs, etc. This is in addition to their other commitments in counter-terrorism, counter-insurgency, and United Nations operations. There is need to enhance the capabilities of Nigerian police and other security agencies to meet the demands of their primary mandate, so as to free the armed forces from continuous engagement in internal security operations.
And in health, a meningitis outbreak has swept across Jigawa State, causing concern among residents and health authorities alike. According to a statement released by Salisu Muazu, the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Health in the state capital of Dutse, the outbreak has resulted in the confirmed cases of 80 out of 360 suspected cases, with 20 deaths feared. Muazu reassured the public that the government is taking all necessary measures to control and manage the outbreak. According to the World Health Organization, meningitis is a serious and potentially life-threatening illness that affects the protective membranes covering the brain and spinal cord. Symptoms of meningitis includes fever, headache, stiff neck, and a rash. In severe cases, the disease can lead to brain damage, hearing loss, and even death. The government has also set up emergency responses teams, to monitor and respond to the outbreak. And additional health workers have been deployed to the affected areas to provide support and treatment to those in need. A 14-year-old boy, Ashfa Ibrahim, on Monday got drowned in an open stream to Danzaki village in Gezawa local government area of Kano State. This is contained in a statement signed by the spokesperson of the State Firefighting Department, Saminu Abdullahi, and made available to newsmen in Kano on Tuesday. The statement indicated that a distress call from one Ibrahim Abdullahi was received and rescue team was dispatched to the scene. The victim was later confirmed dead by a team of medical doctors at the Gezawa General Hospital. According to him, the victim slipped and fell inside the open water, sustaining injuries on his body. He said the corpse had since been handed over to the ward head of Danzaki village, Muhammad Abdul Karim, for onward delivery to the parents of the deceased for burial. The firefighting department has forwarded the case to the police for discreet investigation to ascertain the cause of the incident for proper action. You're watching News Update on Trust TV. Coming up, we'll bring you how naira scarcity affects fruit sellers in Gombe. Details on this and more after the break. Stay with us.
This is Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
At last, the elections are here. Let's turn out en masse on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as President of Nigeria for a renewed hope and a better Nigeria. Vote APC, the party that shows a broom.
executives in the
Thank you for staying with us. If you're just joining in, this is a news update on Trust TV. And here is a recap of our top stories. INEC says no election in 240 polling units meets political parties. And 20 feared dead as meningitis outbreak hits Jigawa. Now moving on to more stories. About 100 anti-corruption civil society organizations with thousands of their members and supporters on Monday continued their protest against alleged infractions by the EFCC. The groups are specifically rallying against what they called politicization of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, disobedience of court orders, and infringement on human rights of Nigerians.
Today's protest is the third since the top activists began their call for the removal of the EFCC chairman, Abdulrasheed Bawah. The anti-corruption civil society organization have insisted that EFCC under Bawah had turned himself into a sensational media agency, churning out deliberate misfortune on almost a daily basis to strengthen a political cause, adding that responsible civil society will not fold their arms and watch the country's global anti-corruption outlook slip into a mess, all in the name of the anti-democratic tendency of a few recalcitrant leaders. Speaking to journalists at the protest ground, the coordinator of Campaign Against Impunity in Nigeria, Shino Lorimekon, speak on the need for all institutions to respect court orders.
All arms of institutions must respect the court of law, even if it is a magistrate court. If you are not contented with it, you go to a superior court to challenge the order made. If a court of appeal has made an order, there are other higher courts to go. In fact, if the Supreme Court of Nigeria makes an order and you are not contented, there is ECOWAS court. Nigeria is a treaty to the ECOWAS Convention. Nigeria is a member of the United Nations, and there are United Nations courts. The International Criminal Court is here. So there are many courts to approach if a court order is not satisfactory to you. Anything undermining the court of order is like promoting anarchy.
The anti-corruption civil society group further noted that a several violator of court order is not fit to be the head of an agency that is supposed to sensitize the society.
It's an agency that everybody looks forward to get succor when there is conflict between the people and the law that has to do with economic and financial crimes. So it is not about expressing emotions. It's not about your own sentiment. It's about what those that have been entrusted with the adjudication, with the rule. I mean, those who are supposed to preserve the rule of law, and those who are supposed to explain it, to intercede between what is right and what is wrong. Once they say it and they come to a verdict, we believe that nobody should treat himself as being above the law. We are supposed to be equal before the law.
Rule of law, it means that we must be accountable. If a competent court of jurisdiction has given an order, it behoves on the person that the order is given against to respect that order, because he is also representing the government. By representing the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, he shows that he is a government appointee. And we are saying that, look, government people must also respect the orders of the court, or else our country will become a state of anarchy.
Will petition the Chief Justice of Nigeria to demand that until the court order to arrest Bawah is effected, no court should entertain any EFCC case henceforth.
Bawah must go! Bawah must go!
On the new Naira policy, the discontent arising from the scarcity of new Naira notes continue to grow across the country. Fruit sellers in Gombe State say the cashless policy is affecting their businesses negatively. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail says the fruit sellers are struggling to grasp to transact in a cashless business environment. The reports.
Scarcity of the Naira notes is punching hard on small-scale businesses in Gombe State. Some of these adversely affected are traders of perishable goods. Saadu Salisu is a fruit seller in Gombe Metropolis. He said scarcity of the Naira is taking a toll on his businesses and he does not have access to mobile banking. The reason why I don't receive transfer is that I don't have an account, and this has been affecting our businesses seriously. Our business services have dwindled by almost 50%. We pray that God will help us to have something to feed our families. Other fruit sellers agree that life has been very difficult since the unveiling of the cash swap policy program. The customers insist on paying through bank transfer always, and my bank account has some problem. I don't used to see alert. The policy to go and buy new products, and the village people don't have accounts. You can't do mobile banking transfer to buy the fruit from the villagers. It can't happen. This scarcity of the Naira and ineffective mobile banking services is worsening the already harsh economic conditions these Nigerians have to contend with. From Gombe, Ibrahim Ismail reporting for Trust TV.
And now from the foreign scene, a crash between an armored truck and a bus has killed 20 people and injured another 60 in South Africa's northern province of Limpopo. 20 people were tragically killed in an accident where a cash-in-transit truck lost control and collided head-on with an oncoming bus on a highway. 10 of the injured were in serious condition and have been transported to hospital. Police divers were searching a river that runs along the highway for people who might have been swept away. And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Updates. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I am Sumaya Abubakar. Thanks for watching.